Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of WeedBudz Radio. I'm really excited to share our next guest with you. We have John Freeze, the co-founder and president of Metolius Hemp Company. John, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, Metolius.
Metolius. So, John, I always ask people because I definitely, like most people, didn't have this kind of normal trajectory of using cannabis in high school and college and then making my way into the industry. It was a little unorthodox. And so I'm always fascinated to hear how our guests get into the cannabis and hemp space. So I'm wondering, was this something that you just had an idea one day that you were going to partake in? Or was this something that you've been involved with for a while?
Yeah, so I was researching CBD for our son, who's on the autism spectrum disorder, and also started utilizing CBD for myself initially before, his mother and I approved the option for him to utilize it. So started with CBD tincture and started to see the efficacious results for him, specifically in regards to mood, behavior, sleep, and that was just tincture. And about 3 years after that, got a call from my cousin who said, we're going to start growing hemp. This is in 2017, and decided to move out to Central Oregon, join the farming company, and the rest is sort of history.
Were you living in Oregon at the time, or did you have to move?
Yeah, we were living in Portland, Oregon, moved to Bend, Oregon. The company farmed for 3 seasons, went from 1 farm to 4 to 7. I know that's not 7. And we owned outright a couple of farms essentially, and then the rest we co-owned. But what we saw was that, unfortunately, like almost all forms of farming, the industry rapidly got commoditized. Farmers were taking the brunt of the weight, and the flower that we were producing, CBD flower at the time, was being put into consumer products that we thought were relatively subpar, way too expensive, and were essentially trying to find a niche or a place to fit in the market. And we thought there was something much, much bigger here, which is that cannabis should be the direct replacement for tobacco in all of its forms.
That's fascinating because I've heard, and please tell me more, but I've learned a little bit that the tobacco industry is getting heavily regulated now. I mean, it's been regulated, but heavily regulated, where even menthol cigarettes are being banned in some areas. Are you seeing that as well?
Yeah, I mean, you've been seeing massive taxation on everything from, tobacco-based products to vaporizer-based products. And yes, you are seeing a ban on menthol cigarettes, which is has a series of issues attached to it as well. But in the end, it's I think what they're finding is that to me, okay, how should I say this? The addictive nature of tobacco, specifically because of all the additives, because of all the elements that they place into cigarettes, and things like blunts, and or cigars and or chewing tobacco, gives you a sense of how much that behavior is rote for people. They can't quit, or they're not prepared to quit. And it's sort of that adage of cigarettes and beer before diapers is what they say at many of the convenience stores, and it's a truism, and it's tough. We think there is a way in which to get people to still have that habit, if you will, but we want to make a healthier habit. They still have that vice, but we have a healthy vice. So our belief is, and we've studied behavior modification as much as we possibly can, and we've learned a lot about it over the years. And the truth of the matter is there are 3 primary elements that come with any form of addiction. Obviously, there's the physiological effect, whether it's alcohol, nicotine, what have you. 2 is the social element. Am I out with people? Am I interacting? Am I taking a break? And the 3rd is a sense of ownership on something that's yours. And even if that thing is unhealthy, and even if it's perhaps the least healthy thing you can possibly do. I would put smoking a cigarette or smoking cigarettes in that category. If you can replace those three things, if you can give someone a physiological effect, it's as good or better. If you can allow them to remain in those social situations, and if in the end you have the ability to allow them to own something that, again, is ritualistic for them, that's a vice, but make it healthy, all of a sudden you're sitting on what could be the largest opportunity we've ever seen in the cannabis industry, which, again, is to reduce or replace tobacco with cannabis, specifically non-psychoactive CBD, CBG, and all the derivative cannabinoids.
Now, how did you come up with that recipe, if you will? If were you looking for a tobacco replacement, or did you kind of stumble across this idea?
Candidly, we stumbled across it. We had been rolling what we consider to be premium and enhanced pre-rolls. So these were not just CBD cigarette alternatives. They had cannabinoid content 5 to 7 times that of a hemp cigarette you might find at a dispensary or at a convenience store. And what we found as well is that we were mixing 2 types of flower, CBD and CBG, and most people didn't know what CBG was. Many still don't. It's just another cannabinoid. They call it the stem cell cannabinoid, but it has 2 primary properties in regards to its efficacy. One, it can actually help clean out the CB1 and CB2 receptors. And 2, so if you have a high level of anything in your system that's cannabinoid based, it can help sort of flush the system, if you will. And then 2, it can help increase the bioavailability and the uptake of other cannabinoids. And so we had been mixing CBD and CBG in our pre-rolls as a flower. And then we decided we would coat them with distillate, tea-free distillate, and then we would enhance them with CBD isolate and CBG keef. By adding all 5 of those byproducts into one pre-roll, people started saying to us, I chew, I smoke cigarettes, I have less cravings when I smoke this. 2, I am finding this to be a replacement. And then the epiphany moment was last November when one of our customers called and said, I'd like to and am quitting cigars completely by smoking your cannagars. And so this is what he was ordering. This is our 5-gram cannagar. It is 5 grams of CBD, CBG flower, and organic palm leaf, organic corn husk filter. And inside is 5 grams of CBD, CBG flower, and then the outside is distillate, keef, and isolate. This product in particular was what he wanted to utilize to quit smoking cigars. He was smoking 2 to 3 a day. And I said, what if we just sent you a certain amount monthly that would replace all the cigars you're smoking? He said, great, I'll order 30 of these a month. And so that started our can of clubs. Within about 2 weeks, we had about 14, 15 people signed up, all of whom were generally replacing cigars with our 2 forms of cannagars. We have a 3 and a 5 grammer. And then we started finding people were replacing cigarettes with our pre-rolls, either our 0.5 gram or our 1 gram pre-rolls. And that started this whole movement where we just said, let's just start talking to people about whether or not they're utilizing tobacco. And if they are, they can ultimately replace all of their tobacco use with our solutions.
That's amazing. And I know that the tobacco industry also has a number of other products. There's gums, there's pouches, there's chewing tobacco. I don't even know all of the products that necessarily exist. Do you find that there are potential alternatives for those types of products as well? Yes,
absolutely. Our internal vision is to reduce or replace tobacco in all of its forms. And our strategy is threefold. Number one, it has to be the exact same form factor. If you're smoking a wide cigarette, a slim, if you're smoking a particular type of cigar, chewing, smokeless tobacco, we will match that form factor. That's number one. It's critical. Number two, we'll match the price. What are you spending now on tobacco-based products? We will match it, so there's no additional cost. And 3, we will make sure that in the end, it's delivered directly to your door, so you no longer have to waste additional time away from life, work, family, to go and receive or to retrieve tobacco-based products. We think those 3 elements make it way more approachable and much more likely that you'll be successful. We understand that many of our customers may never quit smoking completely, but we say stop smoking, start toking. I'll give you this data point, which is pretty amazing. The longest study ever done on cannabis smoking is running about 21 years now. And they looked at 4 types of people: those that never smoked anything in their lives, those that only smoke cigarettes, those that smoke cigarettes and cannabis, and those that only smoke cannabis. After the 21 years, what they've proven is that the people that had the lowest propensity for lung disease, emphysema, and cancer were the ones that smoked solely cannabis. Now, these are joint years. These are individuals that are smoking at least about a joint a day, if not more. So they proved that you actually have a lower likelihood of getting all of these conditions associated with lung disease if you solely smoke cannabis. Now, it wasn't a significant difference, but there was a lower percentage. Those that smoked only cigarettes versus those that never smoked, 21 times off the charts, 21 times the likelihood of emphysema, lung disease, and cancer. Those that smoked cigarettes and cannabis dropped that by 2/3. So what ends up happening is they've proven that cannabis not only has 5 anti-cancer properties, but in that particular study, which was thousands of individuals that participated, controlled study, they found that you had about a 2/3 lower likelihood of having cancer, lung disease, and emphysema by just adding cannabis to your tobacco use. Our goal is get off tobacco completely. If you cannot, reducing it is dramatically better than not reducing it. And we will support you in whatever you want to do. If you're not ready to quit, we'd just like you to consider taking a healthier hit.
Well, it sounds like you all really do the research to back what it is that you're doing. And I'm interested because you all seem so far ahead of the curve already. And I'm curious, do you see yourself as that, or do you see yourself as having a lot more work to go?
I think we have a long way to go for sure from a marketing and, total impact that we want to have. I mean, we would love to have millions of people work with us if possible. With that being stated, we do like to attempt to launch products first. And we've been able to do that thus far. Each of our products were the first to market. And so we're always just going out in the marketplace, seeing what exists, and then saying, how can we replace that with a product that, again, same form factor, same price, and ultimately direct to your door. And, when we launched the lip dips, for example, so we got 3 flavors now, cherry, mint, and orange, but these are direct replacements for Zyn or smokeless tobacco. So this comes with 15 pouches in it. They're almost identical to what a Zyn pouch looks like, feels like, acts like. This, however, has 0 nicotine, 0 additives, 0 fillers. This is 3 organic ingredients in total, and it delivers 100 milligrams of CBD per pouch. And the most bizarre thing is dipping generally is attributed to males, but about 45% of the users of this product are female. Now you can put it in your lip in one of the quadrants or whatever you sip, so you can drop it into your tea or coffee, whatever you want. The CBD will be distributed within the beverage. But my point is launching this is rapidly becoming one of our best sellers, actually top 2. And all it is an alternative that is exactly what you wanted and needed. And here's the difference. Nicotine, everyone knows what it does for you. It definitely can immediately decrease anxiety for many people. It can give you a sense of euphoria and not significant, but something of a body high. CBD, though non-psychoactive, does produce a form of a high. That high, though, is a sense of mental clarity, decreased inflammation for many people, a greater sense of I'm doing something good for myself. And so the results, right, we can only make certain claims or very few claims. But once you give someone exactly the same thing, and it's exponentially better, to me, it's no different than the company here in Oregon that just launched an IPA-based THC drink. It is non-alcoholic. They have the right amount of THC in it so that it gives you a similar result physiologically to having a single beer. But what they did is they put it into a glass brown bottle and labeled it just like a beer. all other forms of sales of these THC products that were beverages were not selling as well as they had hoped until they matched the form factor. You match the form factor, you give it viable physiological results that are similar or even better because you don't wake up hungover, right? All of that. It's just the way the world we think will go because that's what people want.
I love that. So that can also be essentially used as a tea bag as well.
Yeah, so we're going to probably launch this in a couple of different forms, but yes, one of the ways that we make this approachable, and we've definitely found that all of our products that are non-smokable are often the entry point for our customers. So whether it's a dip, whether it's our sleep powder that you take on a nightly basis, whether it's our pain stick and pain roller, which many companies have, these allow you to start to bring CBD into your life, or CBD and CBG, as well as other elements of the plant, but in a way that doesn't make you feel like you have to smoke. But yes, this product in particular, you can just drop it again in your lip or whatever you sip, and that gives people an option. But what we do find is we go out and we do events on a continual basis. We have two pretty significant events this week. We just give out samples of these. And so our whole approach at every event is, would you like a free CBD sample? And people come up, we say, we have the world's first fully organic lip dips. This is 100 milligrams of CBD. This is the equivalence of 3 to 4 tincture droppers. And then we say this to them, what are you paying for tincture? And they're like, oh, I bought a bottle. It was $70. It was $50. I once bought one for 120. We're like, great. We'll sell you this for $15. And this is going to be the equivalence of up to 3 tincture bottles of CBD. And then what ends up happening is, regardless essentially of age, gender, right, all of that, people just grab it and they're like, so just throw it right here? And we're like, yes. And they just do it. 90-year-old women, 55-year-old guys in wheelchairs, it doesn't matter. They just find it highly approachable.
Now, what separates, because for those tuned in, there's all kinds of CBD products on the market. What separates a premium product from just a standard product off the shelf?
I think it's akin to what you might see with wineries and breweries or food. First off, it's got to be local, or start local, and hopefully be manufactured local. 2, organic if at all possible. 3, handcrafted and artisan. And then 4th and finally, a level of quality that you can see, taste, feel, it's there. It's hitting on the senses. And that's what we attempt to do. So, when we show someone our cannagar, they're like, oh, so you make blunts. We're like, no, we don't make blunts. We make the world's first premium enhanced cannagar. And then you show them this and they're like, what is that? And you're like, this is almost an eighth of cannabis in a device that's all organic, including the filter, including the paper, including the flower, including the keef and the isolate. And this will smoke for 35 to 45 minutes. This is probably the equivalence of about 10 to 15, depending on which CBD pre-roll you might purchase at a store. And people are just like, that was an experience I've never had. First off, our tagline is this for this product is tastes like it tastes like grass, not ass. And in the end, we're trying to convert people. I think the number one reason that people want a premium product in the past was because they felt like it was somehow definitive of where they were at in life, perhaps. And now I think we're seeing a movement, especially I think food sort of drove this. People are like, I just want quality food. I'm willing to spend a little bit extra if it's quality. And that has obviously permeated so many other industries, including cannabis. So we only want to do premium and enhanced. And we want to build a brand that not only provides that, but provides it at an affordable cost. That's the key. Some of our products are very expensive if they're one-offs, but that's why the clubs make so much sense, is because if you commit to us, to try and reduce or replace tobacco, we will commit to you at the lowest possible price. We're totally vertically integrated. We deliver direct to your door. We do not have any middlemen. And so for us, we can send you something that's the same cost as as a lip pouch, like a Zyn. We can send you something that is exactly the same cost as your Marlboro, or something that's the same cost as your cigar, whatever cigars you choose. And that's really what makes it work.
That's amazing. John, one last question for you, because you've been building such an incredible business. I'm curious, what are some of the roadblocks that you've had? Because all businesses have something that they have to overcome, and especially in this space. So what is one of the biggest challenges you all have had to overcome, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, I'd say the primary hurdles in the beginning were just associated with licensure and regulation, which is great that it's in place at the level that it is, including in CBD and on the non-psychoactive side of cannabis. So that was significant. Everything from getting a manufacturing facility and getting a lease, everything from getting licensure and approval to make each and every one of our products, testing every single 30-pound batch of flour, testing every byproduct that goes into our products, testing every finished product. I don't think the consumer quite is aware, nor should they be, of what it takes to get one of these products to you. This is not like supplements where I can just throw powder into a pill, and if I'm in a particular state in the United States, I can ship it to you and claim that it can, do all these wonderful things. There's certain things we can and cannot say. There is definitely a significant amount of testing and regulation that is only growing with time, and keeping up to speed with that, I'd say, was the primary hurdle. I'd say the secondary hurdle is no different than any company in any industry. In today's world, marketing has become so significantly difficult and fragmented. It's as if you're sitting in a meeting and saying, how are we going to find our customers? And everyone's like, oh, we're going to do events. We're going to do social. We're going to do activation events. We're going to do paid placement. We're going to get ambassadors and influencers. We're going to do, the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And so I think that's probably the most difficult thing that we face, which I think is the most difficult thing that every company faces, because the best companies with the best products don't always win. They often don't win. The best marketed products are the ones that win. And that's difficult to do when you're not willing to just spend cash as if it's free. And so I'd say those are probably the two biggest hurdles we've faced. I think what we're attempting to do is just build a brand that just reflects how our team lives and how our customers live, which is we try to do things that are valuable to individuals in society, but also try to maintain some semblance of balance and have a lifestyle that's very active and chill. Many of us on our team didn't live that life, including myself, for a number of years. And you just come to the point where you realize I can't wake up every day and work this hard on business, friendships, family, all of it, and feel as though I don't have any time to live, in a sense of just being in the world. Our lives become so insanely packed with tasks and activities that I just feel like most Americans, at least, don't take the time or aren't finding the time to just sit back, relax, and sort of think about where their lives are at and where things are at and how they might change things. So we're trying to assist them in that process with arguably one of the things that's maybe causing the most issues in their life. If you are smoking 25 cigarettes a day and you're constantly having to go outside or leave social situations and or are dealing with health issues and or your spouse is like, you smell all the time, I hate this habit. What if you could change those things? We literally have customers of ours now that smoke our cannagars inside their homes, and their spouses are like, this is great. I love the smell. Not a problem. And it's just great that you're here interacting with us. You're not outside all of a sudden for an hour and a half taking in a cigar. Those things make a real difference with time. But most importantly is, how does it impact your body and your mind? And that's the beautiful thing. I know nicotine has its value for sure. And nicotine alone, as a chemical, a naturally occurring chemical, is not all that bad. But it's all the things that are around it. that make it so terrible. And so, in the end, I think that's how we're going to try to differentiate, is just constantly show people via content. This is at least how we're attempting to live life. This is what we're trying to create as a company and a brand, and let us help you. Let us help you. No judgment. Let's go. Again, let's reduce or replace everything from tobacco, eventually pharmaceutical drugs. We're going to attempt to do some things in regards to replacing alcohol. We think it's the most medicinally rich plant on earth. And we think that's been proven. And we just want to make it accessible to everybody in whatever form works for you.
Amazing. And for those that want to check out your products, what is the best way for them to go to your website and to stay in contact with you, John?
Yeah, you just go to metoliushemp.com. That's metoliushemp.com or metolius.market, either one. That's our web presence. There you can request a sample if you would like. Just email us at rollwithus. That's ROLLWITHUS at Metolius Hemp, or fill out the contact form on the website. We'll send you a sample of a product, any one of our products you'd like. See if it works for you. See if it's efficacious for you. And then, of course, if you want to take one additional step that's not quite a high level of commitment, purchase some products. We usually have great promos going on. Try them for a couple of days, couple of weeks, couple of months. And then if it works for you, join the club. Our clubs are by far the biggest focus of the company because they provide anywhere from 30 to 73% off retail, depending on the club, on what we can afford. And just to be honest, we do such a nominal markup. Some people are like, wait, you only do a 15 or 21% markup over costs. We do that because we understand it's the only way this is going to work. I cannot charge someone, the equivalence of $2 for one of our pouches when they can get a Zyn for 40 cents. We have to match the price. And the only way to do that is vertical integration and direct to consumer.
Amazing. Well, John, thank you so much for sharing your company and your team and your products with me today.
Of course. Thank you. This has been awesome. And nice work on hitting over 100 episodes. That's freaking huge.
I appreciate it. And I'm so grateful for all of you tuning in as well. Be sure to head over to our show notes on WeedBudZRadio.com. We'll have all of the links to connect with John and the company and check out their products. We'll see you in the next episode.